defensive coordinator and linebackers coach Ted Roof. We're going to go straight to questions. We'll start with Eli.
Ted, when you look at your linebackers and the composition you've got this year, you've got the young guys we talked about last fall, and you've got Connor. How do you feel maybe different from a year ago? You've got the depth to work with there.
Well, we've got some competitive depth. We've got some guys that were young guys last year, some guys that were first time like carry the load player like the Danny Stutzman, who his role obviously has evolved and as he's matured, and at the same time a good blend of some young players with him and additional players that and Connor and Desan. So it's certainly there's a lot of competitive depth, which makes everybody better. So to be able to rotate players so that way we're fresh in the fourth quarter. But again, you're only going to get what you earn, and that's every day, whether you're a coach, a player, whatever. So that's, but excited about the depth there and looking forward to getting started.
Let's go to Ryan Neighbor.
Yeah, it's sort of along those lines with the secondary. Obviously, so much talk about competitive depth everywhere, but that seems to be one of the areas where it's been focused here in the offseason. How do you feel about the depth there versus a year ago?
I think we're deeper than we were a year ago, and again, an area where we're continuing to build depth and develop depth. So, yeah, I feel good about it. I think that's a solid group, and the expectation level is high.
George Stoya, all right.
Ted, obviously you've got some talented linebackers in Jaron and Kobe, but you add Connor near to the group. What does he bring, especially experience-wise?
Well, he brings he was a two-time All-American and team captain from where he came from. So, he's been really successful and was a great leader. So he brings some maturity, some experience, and a good blend. And our guys, he's done a great job fitting in, as have all the guys that have transferred. And at the same time, our guys have done a good job of making them feel welcome. And it's been a good transition. And again, with the competition there, I'm looking forward to seeing it because they've all had great summers, and excited about what's getting ready to go on here.
Okay, let's come over here to James Hale.
It's the second year you guys will be running this defense, and year two of this defense. So talk about how much that's going to help this defense just improve and get better going into training camp.
Well, the newness of something, year one, that it wasn't what we wanted, it wasn't what we hoped for, it wasn't what we worked for. But at the same time, we've learned from it and we moved on, and the experience is a big deal, just like it is in any business. Whether it's football, whether it's whatever it is, the experience factor is a big deal. From hearing for the same verbiage, the same calls, instead of having to think like, okay, I got this call now what do I do if they do this? Now it's more reactionary, and the whole process allows them to anticipate and allows everybody to play faster. And when you play faster, you play more aggressive. And so, yeah, I think that it's a big deal.
Okay, let's go to
And let me go back to that too. I need to add this. Part of it too is the amount of effort our players have put into doing that. Once the last season was over, it has been a steady stream of guys, watching tape on their own, asking questions, all the things that studying the game, and that's been that's a good sign if you're a football coach.
left side here, Jesse.
Hey, Tim, wanted to ask you about Dejon Terry. Obviously, that defensive tackle room, just the experience he brings coming from Tennessee. What does he add to that defensive tackle room?
Well, number one, he's a quality guy. He's a guy that is so far has been a tremendous teammate, a guy that has just come in here and put his nose down and gone to work, and that's the thing that stands out. Obviously, he's got a lot of experience. So again, to bring that experience, but his learning curve had to be really fast to catch him up, with the guys that were in the system last year. But he has done that, and he's accelerated that, and looking forward to seeing his contributions and you know, what he brings, but certainly excited about him and really proud of what he's done so far.
Second row, Ryan Chapman.
Ted, you guys talk about being player-led, and Brent talked a lot of things on media days about those steps that Danny has taken forward. What are you hoping to see in the early days of fall camp as far as a leap in growth, knowing that all summer they've been able to have kind of that player-led aspect with Danny especially?
Yeah, you want to see the strides we've made. You want to see him make more strides, because, you know, going through the Smitty's workout program, that's something, and you need leadership in that, because there's going to be some tough moments, some challenging moments, but good comes from all of that with the challenge. And at the same time, now they're actually playing the game and be putting in, you know, stressful situations, challenging situations, and seeing guys respond. And, you know, to continue to take steps in that regard, because this is a work in progress. We've made strides. We haven't made enough. We've got to make more. And that'll be something that, again, is a big point of emphasis, the response and the leadership and the player-driven, developing the leadership, you know, because guys' roles have changed. You know, guys have roles like Danny Stutzman. Danny was, you know, fighting to be a starter last year, and now, you know, he's the leading returning tackle in the Big 12, although that's last year. But where he's come from now, and the expectation level for him, and the expectation level he has from himself, to continue to take strides, and us as a staff to help develop leaders. Sure.
Okay, Colton Solly on the aisle.
After watching the film all summer, what's the biggest thing that stuck out to you that you want to see improvement in, beginning with fall camp starting this week?
Well, our third and fourth down defense and our red zone defense. If you had to narrow it down, you want to improve in every area, and we've got to improve in every area. But if you look at things those are the biggies of, you know, the red zone defense, the third and fourth down defense. So those are the areas as far as probably the ones that stick out the most. Although, again, like I said, we want to improve it. We need to improve in everything.
Okay, third row, Kerry Murdoch.
Ted, move inside with Jonah. What have you seen out of him? How does he look now, and how quickly, you know, do you expect that transition to work for him going into camp?
Jonah has bought into that 100% from day one. There was never any hesitation. All Jonah wants to do is do whatever's best for our football team, and his intentions and his motives are so good that it's been a smooth transition. And again, you know, he's put so much into it, so much work into it, and when guys do that, they're respected by their teammates and appreciated by their teammates. So he's grown as a leader. He was a guy, you know, that transferred in last year, and, you know, now his role's completely different as well. But again, you know, you heard him talk at the Big 12 media days. I mean, he's all about the team and his teammates, and so excited about him and what he brings, you know, to that room.
Okay, John Hoover in the way back.
Yeah, Ted, follow-up question on Connor Neer. They say football is football, but can you kind of describe, you've been around a couple of places, can you kind of describe the transition that he faces going from Division II to Division I, and just, I know it's early in his process, you may not have seen much from him yet.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we haven't gotten into pads yet. As far as, you know, evaluating linebackers, that's tough to, you know. But as far as what his transition has been like, you know, he came in and had to learn a new language. That's what, you know, transfers do. They have to come in and learn the language. And again, he's another guy that's poured everything he has into that, and it's been a really good transition. And you know, as far as earning respect from his teammates, that's, again, because of the way he works and the type of guy he is. But you know, football is football. Once the ball's snapped, now it goes faster at some places than others, and the guys that are trying to block you sometimes are bigger than they are at other places. But you know, it is football, and at the same time, just the acclimation of getting used to the speed of the game. But he's so experienced and has played so much. I expect that'll be a smooth transition for him.
Okay, left side, second row, Dean.
Coach, where is Kanik? You know, by all accounts, he is what you kind of look for, at least it sounds like it. But he had no experience, so you couldn't get him out there last year. How far down the road is he?
He's come a long way, you know. And again, I keep going back to the same statement, but he's put so much into it. He's one of the guys that's up there all the time working on his own, and again has earned respect from his teammates. But he's made a lot of strides this summer to study things on his own and things of that nature. But he's seeing things a lot better, and so much of playing defense is vision and reacting and looking at the right things over and over and over and over and over again, just building up good habits. And you know, he's always been a extremely willing, team-oriented first guy. But again, you know, going from being a Wildcat quarterback to Big 12 Mike linebacker, that's a pretty big transition. But he handled it well and didn't get discouraged, didn't wallow in what he wasn't able to do, or you know, whatever his role was last year, and is just focused on moving forward. And as a result of that, he's made a lot of improvements since spring practice. So again, going back to the theme of competitive depth and competition, once practice starts, the theme of competition is true at a lot of positions for us. And it's going to be brought out every day. You know, you're going to be challenged and every day, and you know that's what guys that come to Oklahoma want. They want competition. If guys were scared of competition, they wouldn't come to the University of Oklahoma. Neither would coaches.
Second row middle.
So Woody Washington is a guy who's played a lot of football. Have you seen him take some of the younger defensive backs under his wing and kind of mentor them this offseason?
100%. Another guy that has really grown as a leader. A guy that when he talks back there in the secondary, those young players are like sitting on the edge of their seat listening to him because they know that he knows. And again, from doing it over and over again, and he's been another guy that has made leaps as a leader, and need him to continue to do that.
Okay, right side, Barry.
Look at that sport coat, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Third and fourth down, you talked about improvement. What's the difference between second down defense and third down defense, other than as long as the yardage is the same? Why is that a thing?
Okay.
And how do you work on it?
Okay. Well, it certainly is emphasized, and you work it, every day in practice on that, different situations as far as what your assignment is, what you expect to see in certain third down situations. But the difference in third and second down usually is if you win on third down, and now not as much as a few years ago with analytics, but usually you're coming off the field if you win on third down, whereas in second down, you still got to play third down. But going back to third and fourth down success, the more success you have on earlier downs, the higher your percentage is to be better on third and fourth down. So it's a combination of a lot of things, but, getting off the field. And then also now, because in so many situations, fourth down is like third down was 2 or 3 years ago. Teams just go for it, and sometimes regardless of field position. So, our fourth down call menu has to be, and has to be more extensive than it's been in the past.
Are you saying that this is as much of a coaching mission as it is a player mission? I mean, you guys got to be as ready for it as the players.
It's a total mission by everybody involved. Yeah, and from a plan standpoint, from an execution standpoint, from a understanding standpoint, from an adjustment standpoint, all the above.
Okay, second row, James Jack.
Coach, what are some of the things you liked about your defense last year? What were the building blocks for you all?
Well, we did a good job of creating negative yardage plays. That was something that, at the end of the season, I think before the bowl games, we led the FBS in that. So that's a good thing, creating negative yardage plays. And whether it showed or not, the buy-in was there. They never let go of the rope. Whereas, sometimes teams that, they get discouraged or down, but our guys never did that. They continued to fight, and we learned from it. Well, there was some, like I said, it was bad. It wasn't our standard, but the growth, part of growing is failing, unfortunately, sometimes. And but you can either wallow in that or you can learn from it and move forward. And our guys have learned from it and moved forward. And I think that an understanding maybe what it takes to be successful. And I think those are some valuable lessons that we learned. And again, excited and looking forward to seeing how those translate to this season.
Third row, Tarek.
You talked about competitive depth and how much being comfortable in the system will help your defense, but in some of those early season games, what are some of the characteristics you're going to be looking for in your defense to show that some of those things are clicking and you guys are moving in the right direction?
Elimination of mental errors, you know, the explosive plays, and also just when adversity comes, you know, how do we respond from it? And so those are some things that, you know, some general things that we're looking for.
Third row, Cliff.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned getting off the field, and a critical part of getting off the field is run defense, which is a particular area of weakness last season. What do you see that gives you confidence that that particular area will be stronger this year?
Well, I think that again, from an added year of being in Smitty's weight program, you see additional strength. You see another layer of understanding of the system, and then the depth. So I don't think it's any one thing. I think it's a culmination of a lot of things, and you know, just doing things the right way over and over and over again, where they become habits. Because you know, game day is a reflection of our habits. So we just got to continue to build great habits, and that's what each and every day is about.
Okay, way back, John Hoover.
Ted, in the opposite cornerback spot of Woody, what qualities do you think you're going to be looking for this training camp out of, I don't know if it's Gentry or Kendall or one of the young guys or somebody I'm not mentioning? What qualities are you going to be looking for to find a starting cornerback? And is it going to be more of a blank slate, or are you going to lean heavily on spring?
Well, I think that everybody's got a resume built up to this point, but at the same time, it's a new season, a new. All that the depth chart is just a starting point for guys. That's a work in progress. So there'll be a lot of opportunities provided to a lot of guys to earn that. But the consistency, as far as, you know, the performance, the consistency in the performance, the production, you know, the same things that you look for in the other. But it's, you know, the guys that respond when they make a mistake, how do they respond? And all those things are really critical, especially when you play back there in the secondary and you make a mistake, because it usually doesn't end well. So guys that can have amnesia can learn from it and move on and move forward. But the response is a big deal.
How many of those guys do you think there are?
Time will tell. Right now, everybody. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Coach Roop's going to stick around for about 10 more minutes.